Me here. So, first of all, a very, very lovely evening to all of you out here. And one of my, I can see Rajiv, he's my friend from TPCRA. He's also there. Thank you for having this arranged along with IES. Excellent.
Welcome, Raj. Yeah,
I will do two things for you.
yeah,
First, I will try and show you what is blockchain, not from my perspective, but from the world perspective. You see what people are talking in the news, especially in India. And I'll also tell you what we're doing in Madhya Pradesh as well. That's one. And then I'll take you to the little bit of, I'll give you an introduction of blockchain. Actually, blockchain is a subject which is so vast, so vast. If I start speaking today, we'll finish next year. So we don't want that. What we want to do is get you to understand what is blockchain. Why is everybody talking about blockchain and AI and ML and all sorts of things? And most important, how it's going to impact you from today for the next 25 years. Trust me. When you're done with it, you'll understand what I'm saying. I'll also share with you a little bit of the history of blockchain. I'll share with you what's happening in the world of blockchain. And I'll share with you one more thing. A lot of you must be knowing Bitcoin, but definitely I may not know that Bitcoin is not blockchain. Bitcoin is built on blockchain. And also, I'm very thinking, if you had put 1 rupee in Bitcoin, if you put 1 lakh rupees on Bitcoin 10 years back, you would be richer by 62,500 times that. So that's the value of Bitcoin, and that's the value of the platform which runs it. The most secure platform in the world, that's blockchain. Okay, with that, I'm going to share my screen with you. So am I the host now? Yes, I am the host. Thank you. We go, and I shall proceed to. Okay, so everybody can see my screen?
yes, Raj, very much visible.
Perfect. Well, there are 2 people waiting. I'm admitting 2 people since I'm the co-host now. All right, all right. Boys and girls, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. What is the first thing we see? The demand for blockchain engineers is through the roof. Now that's fantastic news for everybody who's looking for jobs. Not just jobs, but blockchain actually is not just a job, it's a career. And as we keep on going through our little journey today, I'll explain to you how. So this is one piece of news which you should really always look for. And this is Computer World India edition. We're not talking about anybody else, we're talking about India right now. Well, here's another one. Blockchain is listed as the #1 hard skill for 2020 in a new report compiled by job site LinkedIn. I'm sure all of you are on LinkedIn or at least know about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you even search in LinkedIn, the maximum number of people on LinkedIn who are looking for jobs are looking for jobs in blockchain. That's the greatest in demand skill right now. All the postings for job posting, etc., maximum are in LinkedIn. You can have a look at it anytime. Okay, let's have a look at this. Blockchain tops the list of most in-demand skills for 2020. And as we know, 2020 is half gone anyways because of the pandemic. This will keep on remaining for the next couple of years now. In fact, the pandemic has brought about a huge requirement of blockchain professionals because now all vaccination, clinical trials, pharmaceuticals, masks, everything is going to be on blockchain now for becoming very transparent. And I will explain that a little later, but just want to see the headlines first. There you go. I'll show you another headline. Blockchain moves into top spot for the hottest job skills. Now we all study in college. We all, take care of our education. Our parents, push us to become good students. And what do? We sometimes choose the right careers, the wrong careers. But if we move towards blockchain, even if you don't want a career in blockchain in the future, it's going to help you because job market is growing more than 6,000% since last year. This I'm talking about freelance jobs. So even if you want to become a freelancer and do something on the side, it's all yours. It's the new cloud of the 21st century, as they say. We'll read another headline. How blockchain can become a game changer in India. This is a news which came very recently. It came up again recently because blockchain, after this piece of news, became such a hot topic that the government of India decided to do something about it. And when we have my presentation, I'll show you what happened. Just remember this headline, how blockchain could be a game changer. I've got people here. I'm admitting everybody inside. Right. And for all those aspiring engineers, non-engineers, here's some real good news. Sky-high salaries for blockchain pros. And this is not only for technical blockchain professionals, it's even for non-technical professionals. Again, I will speak a little more on that a little later, but right now, this is fantastic news. Sky-high salaries for blockchain pros. Sounds good? I'm sure. All right, I go further. I started with a statement called the demand for blockchain engineers is through the roof. I again want to bring your, bring you back to that. And there's a very big reason. Yesterday, there was our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. He put up a speech in the United States, and this 9 hours ago, this news was released. Indian Prime Minister backs blockchain as frontier technology. Now, frankly speaking, this is massive news. Here, the Prime Minister has clearly said, and I'll show you one article a little bit here. Part of the speech here was an endorsement for blockchain as an investment opportunity among these frontier technologies. What are frontier technologies? Any of you know what are frontier technologies? We all know emerging technologies. We all know futuristic technologies, but what are frontier technologies? Well, frontier technologies are those technologies where forward thinking and real world implementation of solutions converge. So this is known as a frontier technology. It's not just a technology, it's a frontier technology. Oh, I see some people in the waiting room. All right, I get them inside. Here we go. Okay. This is going to become a game changer as far as blockchain is concerned, because here yesterday, the Prime Minister has himself said that we are going to have a lot of opportunities in the blockchain universe. And the blockchain universe, which was several $billion anyways, is going to become a much more thanks to India. Okay, so, and here is something which you might like, you guys are in Madhya Pradesh, and this is something which we did about a year and a half back. We were invited to make a presentation to your government in Madhya Pradesh, use of blockchain technologies for management of land records. Okay, this is something by the government. It was done by the Commissioner of Land Records in Gwalior MP. So this is the closest I have come to doing some work with your government, and we had a great discussion. Everything went great, and then came COVID. We will implement sometime now, and then came COVID. So we're waiting for them to release funds. All right. So going from there now, I will come and take you back into my presentation now. I think the headlines are very informative. Just a minute, please. And here we go. You see my presentation here?
Yeah, it's visible, Raj.
Perfect. All right, I'll get it full. All right, guys, that's me here. And that's a friend of mine, George here. This is George Levi, and that's me. And the two of us are both very strong blockchain buffs. We are blockchain enthusiasts. We bounce a lot of ideas on what we can do in the blockchain space, not just for students, but what we can do to create a very strong social impact. More important, how we can bring blockchain to every student, every person, everyone in such a simplified manner that you'll say, hey, blockchain is as easy as ABC. We don't want it to be blockchain, some big giant out of nowhere. We can't understand what it is. It's a big monster. No, it's not. actually very simple. It's just a bunch of blocks. We've all played with blocks when you were kids. I play with blocks again. So between the two of us, we've spoken at several events, several webinars. We've conducted a whole bunch of workshops from a corporate perspective, from a social perspective. I think between the two of us, we've covered webinars and seminars in person and online in about 120, 130 countries now, between the two of us. And we've enjoyed every bit of it. Unfortunately, we can't travel now, so both of us are giving our webinars online. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So coming back from there, let me straight take you into what is blockchain. And the first slide is a very important slide, so just keep your eyes on that. Here we go. I told you about a statement where we, a news headline which says blockchain is going to be a game changer in India. After that thought, there was a government committee sat down and discussed what is this blockchain. We were fortunate to have been invited to committee to give our inputs, which we did. And in Jan 2020, Niti Aayog published the first of the two-part blockchain strategy plan for adopting blockchain in India. Now, this is a highly significant move, not only for the country, for each one of us as citizens, and especially the students out here, especially the students and our teachers, because they are the catalysts. Now, this strategy, there is a two-part strategy. They've taken out the first part now. The second part will come out soon. But in January 2020, and this was a little before the pandemic, it was decided that India has to have a blockchain strategy. Why didn't take out an AI strategy? It didn't take out a cloud computing strategy. It didn't take out even a robotic strategy. It did not take out a Drupal strategy. It didn't take out any other technology, but it took out only on blockchain, thereby giving you and showing you that that is the significance and importance the government is giving. And when a government gives importance and significance, it's a very big deal, because the governments normally have a lot of things to consider, a lot of committees, etc., etc. And when they make a decision on something as large as creating a strategy paper, it's a very big step in a direction in which the country is going to go. And as we go through and wade through the rest of the presentation, you'll know why. So this is very important. You can download this from the internet. It's available on the public forum, so you will be able to get it. It'll give you an idea. So blockchain is as significant now as the internet was 25 years ago. 25 years ago, most of the students probably were not there, but there are those of us who were there, and now the students who are there do realize one thing, that you can stay a day without food and water, but you can't stay without internet. Can you? I don't think so. I think most of you would say no, I can't. Okay. Now, why? 25 years back, nobody thought that the internet would spread so much like wildfire that we can't do anything without that. You go to offices, you use the net. You go to schools, colleges, everything is on internet is the most important thing. You want to research something, you Google it. You want to find out some statistics, you Google them. Everything. You want to be talking because of the internet today. It's something which has powered the world now. The whole world is being powered by internet now. So it's become an indispensable tool. And blockchain today is as significant as it was 25 years ago. And now, since we all know that the technology is the only thing moving rapidly, it's going to become faster. Blockchain won't be 25 years. Blockchain will be all over the show in the next 5 years. It's already going everywhere, and it's going to be there. The next 5 years, all of you are going to be involved at some point of life, either using a blockchain platform or working on one. That's how significant it is. Today, what I'm going to do is explain to you a little bit what is blockchain, where did it start, and where are the jobs, and why are they there? Because that's really important. Okay. Don't read the definition. I'll tell you what. All of us have gone to a bank at any given point of time to open a bank account, correct? We all have bank accounts. And when we open a bank account, what do? We fill in the form. put in our name, address, date of birth. We put in every damn thing what they ask us for, and we give them the Aadhaar card, we give them a PAN card, and we give them residence proof. We give them everything. We open up our lives to the bank. Here, take everything, because otherwise they won't let you open the bank. Same thing if you buy a SIM card. It's the same thing. Anyways, now you imagine yourself filling in a form, and this form is then the data entry of that form is put into a computer, which goes into a centralized server where it is stored. Great. That storage is a big block, one block. Now, isn't it very easy to get into the block? It's very easy. Our systems are not yet so secure that we cannot enter that, take out data, hack into it, use or misuse the data. Anything can happen, or we can delete it completely. We can amend it without anybody knowing it. Lots of things happen. Recently, I was reading a news yesterday that one guy, he went to a bank to take a loan. He was a tea seller and he wanted to take a loan. And instead of his loan got rejected, and instead he got a recovery notice from the bank of 50 crore rupees. He says, I'm asking for a 10,000 rupees loan or a 6,000 rupee loan, and listen, what's what happened? That's because somebody had used his papers to take out a loan, etc. That's absolutely possible in our country and in most developing countries, and even developed countries for that matter. So now, when you use a blockchain platform, it timestamps. What is important is timestamp. You cannot change the time from the time it is entered inside. It goes into a series of immutable records. Immutable means they cannot be changed, they cannot be hacked, they cannot be altered, they cannot be manipulated. Therefore, they cannot be changed once they are in, and they can only be changed by you. That also with proof. Even you can't change it without proof. Anyways, and once you've done that, suppose I say, all right, I got 80% in my maths papers. Fantastic. And then on your CV, you write, when you're getting a job, I got 92%. Immediately, your employer will check it and say, oh, you got 92%, you said, fantastic, but it says 80% here. Hey, what have you done? Have you put some white ink on the paper and change your marks? Or what have you done? So it's got to be done. Now, what happens in these blocks? When you give all this data, blockchain splits your data into millions of different blocks, or nodes as they're called, and spreads it all across the world, just like we have internet nodes all across the world. Yeah. All right.
Just a moment. Yeah.
That's okay. That's noise gone.
Yeah.
These blocks are nothing but data blocks spread all across the globe. And each of these blocks, that is the data, is secure and bound by using cryptographic principles. Cryptographic means they are secured. Means your data is now not in one place, it's in hundreds and thousands of places. So it becomes almost, should I say almost, right now it's impossible, it's almost impossible to get your data. Unlike how it is now, you can actually get into a centralized database, one single block, and take out whatever you like to do what you want. So blockchain is data blocks spread across the globe and bound by crypto principles. I'll just read the major benefits of using blockchain. Information consensus amongst multiple parties. Information consensus means all parties, whoever is on the blockchain, agree on the blockchain. I owe 100 rupees to you. You agree that I owe 100 rupees. There is no dispute. That's the first principle, a benefit of using blockchain. Blockchain means trust. That's why Bitcoin was completely made on the blockchain platform. It's a trust because Bitcoin does not need a bank. It's peer-to-peer. Second is timestamping. Timestamping, never can you change it. Once you have this, never can you change it. Okay. Third, security. It is completely secure. It cannot be altered, cannot be hacked. And therefore, it gives you a certain digital signature which proves the authenticity of the transaction. B2B ownership, data management becomes easy, and it is done without human intervention. It prevents data loss because once it's in blocks, you cannot erase it, you cannot change it, you cannot lose those. And most important word which will come over the next few years to you, especially those who are in the tech space and the programming space, this is called programmable logic. Programmable logic is sophisticated cryptographic authorization mechanisms combined with logic so that you can access multi-party agreements in one shot. I will come and give you an example. Don't get confused. It's programmable logic that you can program. That's all you need to remember. Now, some things which you really need to know is what's happening around the world. Because what happens around the world ultimately comes back to India. But there's some things in India happening now, like the blockchain strategy paper, which people are emulating. And thanks to that, I have, you will be happy to know that the government of Nigeria, for example, has invited, I'm one of now the team members of them, who is creating a blockchain policy for the government of Nigeria. So that's because we're doing it in India. I kept telling them if India is doing it, you should also be doing it first, because yours is a smaller country, easier to manage, etc., etc. And they said, yes, we need it. So a couple of people from my team and myself are doing it now. And that's really important because first step is always creating a strategy. Then we can do everything else. So there are 52 countries right now working on blockchain standards with ISO. That's a lot of countries. Most of them are in North America, Europe. And I hope very soon, next time I'm making a presentation, this becomes 53 and India is part of it. Next, over 50% of them are located in Europe. Contrary to what a lot of people think, it's not just the Americas that are doing a lot of work in blockchain, it's Europe, because Europe has the Swiss bank. Everything is going on blockchain. They don't want to use names, they don't want to use numbers. It's all going to be on the blockchain. That's just one of the countries. There are so many other countries, Georgia, Estonia, which are completely putting all their platforms, all the government compliances, all on blockchain. 40 countries have allowed the sale and purchase of cryptocurrencies operations of ICOs or crypto exchanges. And now India also has said, yes, in February, Supreme Court said we can trade in cryptocurrency. Let's look at some very interesting facts and figures. Why are these facts and figures important? Because I'm trying to show you the scope of this platform, of this technology. So by 2024, you're going to spend, corporations, that is corporates, will spend $20 billion per year for blockchain technical services. That's a huge amount of money. $20 billion. Yeah, that's big. But more important is, who is going to service this? Who is going to man these technical services? It's going to be you. It's going to be the students of today. It's going to be people who are now studying, who can understand and say, well, that's a look at my career. Well, $20 billion is going to be put aside for that. And more important, the blockchain industry will be 60.7 billion by 2024. That is massive. 60.7 billion is amongst the largest in emerging technologies. And apart from that, the US itself is going to spend about $1.4 billion only in food and agriculture. By the way, in India also, we have started a blockchain of food and agriculture, and along with one of our partners, we are doing complete food and agriculture blockchain in Rajasthan and also in Chandigarh. Rajasthan is almost complete now. And this is very important. Cost of transactions using blockchain are millions of times cheaper than transaction cost in today's economy. Simple thing. We all do bank transfers, use our credit cards, debit cards, Paytms, InPay, whatever, phone pay, etc., etc., etc. We use that. There is a small charge attached to every one of those charges. In smaller amounts, we don't notice because we may not charge, or the bank gives it up, but they take it from somewhere else. And the bigger ones, especially the foreign currency transactions and all, they are big charges. Now imagine if there is even a, for example, hypothetically, there is a 1 paisa charge for every transaction you do, and the bank is, bearing the cost or whatever, or charging you either of the two. Now imagine that on blockchain, this 1 paisa becomes 0.002 paise. 0.002 paise, which is not even worth thinking about. It reduces the cost. Now imagine the millions of transactions day in and day out every day. don't you see the significant drop in cost for a bank or any credit card company or an intermediary? It's massive. It's in billions. Therefore, it's a big game changer. It reduces major costs and it does not replace human beings. That's very important. Like artificial intelligence does what a human being, some of the actions can be done by AI and replace human beings, but it doesn't. It reduces cost. Blockchain projects will be 360 billion value. It's growing. And very, very important, 55% of healthcare applications will adopt blockchain for commercial use. Healthcare is important. It's amongst, in the world, if you see, there are three largest budgets allocated for either education, healthcare, and defense. These are always the largest budgets. Now, today we are finding Corona, we hear about bad conditions in hospitals, our infrastructure unable to keep up. Sometimes we hear all sorts of news. Now that's why healthcare is very, very important for any nation, any growing nation. Healthcare, creating a very strong infrastructure is very important. And it is the healthcare industry which has stepped up. One is the banking industry, which says, yes, we need to reduce our costs. And also, if we don't adopt blockchain, blockchain will kick us out of business, especially in transactions, because blockchain doesn't require an intermediary. You don't require a MasterCard or a BeamPay or anybody in the middle. You don't require ATMs. You don't require any HDFC Bank. You don't require Bank of Baroda, SBI. You don't require nothing. Just one-to-one. Seamless, trustworthy, cannot be changed. Right. So now banks are the first, and the second is healthcare. So healthcare is going to increase 55% of applications like that. And as you can see, the world's largest banks are investing about a $50 billion corpus to build blockchain-based digital cash settlement system, because it's going to save them several hundred billions more than that after this. You'll be happy to know that 5 major leading private banks in our country, which include the HDFC and the ICICIs, have also made a consortium, and they are actually making a blockchain. They're thinking of making a blockchain platform for almost the same reason. That's also interesting. Next line, the blockchain investment was up by 280% in the first 3 quarters of 2019 when compared to all of 2018. Investments are growing, and a lot. It is the fastest growing investments anybody's making in any sector or any technology. Blockchain is also going to reduce costs. We've done that. Yeah. Now, here is you and me. Here is me, and that's you. And I want to transfer 100,000 rupees to you. No problem. I go on the internet, go to my internet banking, or I go to my internet app, HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank, over the app, and within seconds, I have transferred the money to you. Everything great. Fantastic. It's actually very convenient even now. Nothing wrong with it. But there's a third party involved, which is the bank or a credit card company or any other internet or any other provider like the Paytms or the PhonePays or the BeamPay, etc. Now that was that was the idea first. And now what happens? We implement blockchain. You don't need the bank. The bank is gone from here. It's now me to you. And if I'm transferring, say, $100,000, 100 rupees by RTGS, there are no charges to me. Absolutely no charges, because it's free. Banks do charge now for making a demand draft or a pay order or an RTGS, depending on the amount and depending on the type of accounts you hold. So now what has also happened is your data is stored in multiple nodes, right from here, which is centralized server, to thousands of nodes across the world. Your data is safe. Nobody can change. Nobody can do phishing. Nobody can scam. Nobody can ask for your OTPs and take out money from the account. Nothing can be done. So that was the big idea. The idea was that, and that's how the Bitcoin was formed. Now, how it is today, we have a centralized ledger where everything is stored. We call it a server now in tech language. It's prone to errors. It's prone to tampering, prone to being deleted, and it's prone to getting lost also. We have heard of so many times when we have seen people who have defrauded banks and have run away from the country because somebody was helping them create all this, helping them. Otherwise, audits would not have been passed. So this can be done. Errors can be made, books can be hidden, papers can be lost, tampering can be done, backdating can be done, all sorts of things can be done. I can go on and on. With blockchain technology, implementation of blockchain technology, it gets distributed. I showed you the dots out there. The same thing here, different ledgers. Single ledger gets shared now, it gets distributed, it is now permanent and right across the world, and it's immutable. You cannot change it, you cannot manipulate it. And what does that generate? That generates a lot of trust. It's trust that's important. You trust a bank. You believe that your money is safe there. You believe that nothing will be changed there. You'll be surprised how many things banks do basically. But anyway, that's a story for another day. We won't speak on that. That's the bank's headache, not ours. But bottom line, blockchain eliminates any of these chances of fraud, manipulation, of change. To give you a very simple example, you take a photo of yours, send it by WhatsApp or mail to your friends. Some of your friends are very mischievous. They replace your face with somebody else or create some fake video out of it. So you say, all right, how did this video get here? But if you run it through a software, a blockchain-based software, which I'll share with you later on, you can check when the photograph was taken and who was the original photograph taker and the owner of the photograph. If I have taken the photograph from my phone, I'm the owner of that photograph first. And the timestamp tells me that now these photographs are mine. And that's how today even fake news is detected. We have seen in many cases fake videos or news floating around. But if you run it through the software, you'll know exactly. Sometimes you've seen today's news with 2-year-old videos or photographs. That's how you catch fake news. That's how it's so easy to catch fake news now. So it also solves the double spend problem. So basically, it's everything. It remains timestamped in your system, and you can send it. Your originals are with you, and copies can be with thousands of people. But the originals are the one which are timestamped with your timing. The rest are stamped later, so everybody knows what's right and what's wrong. Let's very quickly understand, how did blockchain start? Why was there a need? Banks were running for hundreds of years. Technology had come. Internet banking was going on many years back, even especially outside the country. So what was the need to make another system? And why was it made? What was the reason? There was a very big reason in 2008. 2008 brought about the global industry crash, the global crisis. Huge crisis where all the stock exchanges, the Dow Jones, that is the American Stock Exchange, crashed so badly. Banks were shaken up, the mortgage market was shaken up, and lots of things happened. People started withdrawing the money and they started losing faith in the banking system. Losing faith in the banking system is amongst the worst, because you trust the bank with your money. You trust it. Okay, sorry, okay, I've got to admit these people. Yeah, right. Okay, so when the system is shaken, and this was a banking system, that was the mortgage system, it was the loans, it shook the Americans right from they were really shaking. For them, they thought that's the end of the world. And then in the year 2000, November 2008, this happened. Just before that, Bitcoin was born, because somebody was seeing the trends. Somebody was seeing that the banking system is being shaken up. And more important, it was being challenged. It became a trailblazer. Bitcoin was born on 31st October 2008. When was it born? It is a white paper was published on Bitcoin. And who was the founder of Bitcoin? Some people say it's Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, till today, nobody really knows Satoshi Nakamoto. Whether it was a real name of somebody, whether it was somebody who was trying to hide his identity because he didn't want to show the world that there is a parallel system of trading and currency. Well, till today, no one really knows who is Satoshi Nakamoto. Although there are a lot of people, there are a lot of theories. But anyway, bottom line, it is credited to a guy called Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay. What he said was, And he put in his paper that Bitcoin is a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. It won't allow online payment to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Now, when we send money today, we also know, yes, I'm sending it to ABC. We use Google Pay or something. Yes, it goes immediately to the next person, but there's always a bank or an intermediary involved. You always have to give your bank account whether you're registering on Paytm or PhonePe or Beam, whatever you register on, it has to be linked to your bank account. It cannot function without that. Now, here is a platform which can function without that. That's what was the underlying premise of blockchain. So in 2008, we had the Bitcoin, which is the only thing moving around on the blockchain platform. Then came the Ethereum, which changed the blockchain world. That's what's called the second generation blockchain. And till today, it remains one of the more popular platforms for blockchain. Then came the Hyperledger, IOTA, Neo. There are several others coming in now. But the most important ones still today remain Ethereum and Hyperledger. Hyperledger is known as a third generation of blockchain. Every generation brings about better security system, better credibility. So that's how even Bitcoin has emerged. Let's have a look at the sectors that blockchain will impact. And that's why I said blockchain is going to impact you everywhere. Banking, government, retail, and I will share some of the things where we go to it. Manufacturing, logistics, healthcare. The biggest called media and utilities, energy, electricity, etc. Biggest first movers have been the banking industry, followed by the healthcare industry, and now the government. And close on the heels are the logistics, retail, manufacturing, utilities, media, supply chain, crowdfunding. Now, if somebody asks, what does crowdfunding do with blockchain? Yes, of course. Crowdfunding, if you all know, is platform. You can put in your projects and ask the internet, ask anybody in the world to actually contribute, fund your project. This blockchain creates transparency. Everyone knows what everyone has given, clear when it has been given, etc. So whenever there's an audit, everything is clear. In supply chain, yes, I will give you some very strong examples in supply chain as we go forward. I'll give you an example with everything. Voting, very big and debatable subject in our country. Of course it is. Some people say, oh, there's EVM tampering. Some people say we have got booth capturing. Some people say, oh, this is not a fair process. We don't know. We press the button. We don't know who's getting the vote, so on and so forth. There are hundreds of pros and cons. With blockchain, and there are some countries who have put in the entire voting system on the blockchain. With blockchain, you can vote from your house because your KYC is already been, on the blockchain, and you don't have to move anywhere, and no one can tamper with the numbers. No one can tamper with any numbers. No one can say, oh, this booth does not have that. Your names are always going to be in the list. Many people say, oh, my name is not on the list. I've got my voting card and everything. My name is not on the list. Hundreds of things. All those will get eliminated. Real estate is using this in a big time. Most of you are going to grow up a little more, get a job, and then apply for a home loan and get a home loan. When you get a home loan, everybody says approval very fast. Right, you get the approval fast, yes. After that, the long process starts of collecting all the papers, because they'll say, okay, get me the chain of ownership. With blockchain, it takes days for a bank to give an approval. They will ask multiple papers, multiple documents, property documents. With blockchain, and with everything on blockchain, with all records on blockchain, all they have to do is put in the key, and within seconds, they can verify the documents, their authenticity, the complete chain of command, and they can sanction and pass a loan within minutes. Actually within minutes, not just sanction it, even disperse it once they have checked the documentation. That's how fast it can happen. Saves a lot of money and a lot of time, and you can get your answers in no time. Another very important thing, if you see what I've given you, Internet of Things, cloud storage, cybersecurity, this and any other emerging technologies, blockchain beautifully integrates and works with them. It does not replace technology. It blends and integrates into these technologies. It gives them the power. For example, if you're making a cybersecurity, you're making a system, a security system, you would also like your security system to be secure and untamperable, unhackable. That's where you blend in blockchain in that. In cloud storage, would you like your storage to be hacked, to be opened, or to be accessed by anybody else? No, you can build in your security system out here. Similarly, that's why I say blockchain will work with every technology. It will not replace any technology, it will work with. Here are some government projects. I've started with government projects here, and what the government is doing using blockchain. Well, Andhra Pradesh is setting up an online citizen governance platform. Now, what is citizen governance? Basically, where citizens interact with government bodies. It could be your property taxes online. It could be a birth certificate. It could be a death certificate. It could be licenses, shop establishment, partnership, anything to be registered. Everything which requires citizen governance, it's on the platform. You now do not have to go to municipal authorities and speak with these guys who will keep making you run from one place to the other, and even making it miserable. Everything becomes right here, accessible, right at your fingertips, if it's all on blockchain. Telangana government is also doing the same for blockchain governance. West Bengal is issuing all the birth certificates on a blockchain platform. That's very essential. Birth certificates can be tampered with. Birth certificates can be faked, can be lost. So on blockchain, you can't say that. Everything is there. It can be checked anytime. Assam government, also citizen-facing applications, citizen governance. Rajasthan government, health records and land registration. In cities, it is still easier to understand the chain of command for the documents, basically. But in villages, where land has passed on from generation to generation, it becomes sometimes very difficult to ascertain the authenticity of the documents. Therefore, blockchain comes and puts all land registration and records on the blockchain and makes it very easy. Health records. Uttar Pradesh, land title management. Here are some in verticals like healthcare. What can healthcare do? Let me give you an example, real life example of how they're using blockchain in the United States and Canada. From the time a child is born and he gets inoculated, he gets his vaccinations, he gets his polio, whatever he needs to do, right from the time he's born, all his data is available on the blockchain. Now that's very important, because he does not have to carry all the certificates or all his papers again and again and again. He may move from city to city, town to town, country to country. If it's on the blockchain, it can be accessed. Now, not only when he's born, but as he grows, sometimes he's not well, he goes to a doctor, gets a prescription, doctor gives him some medicines, all this on the block. He gets x-rays, he gets blood tests at the age of 5, then again he gets at the age of 10. All of this is on a single blockchain. Now he decides to go from USA. He wants to he's a student and he decides to move to the United Kingdom for studies. He goes to UK. Yeah, he falls down, gets hurt, he breaks his arm, goes to a doctor in UK. The doctor in UK doesn't ask him for a single paper. He asks him for his blockchain token. Once he's given the token, he knows everything about the guy. He knows whether he's allergic, what medication he's been taking, how long he's been taking. Everything is on the blockchain. Imagine that happening. Wouldn't it be useful, rather than carrying hundreds and hundreds of reports every time we go to the hospital or to a doctor? If you put it on blockchain, no need for all that. Also, you require all health requirements if you're going abroad, whether you're going for studies or you're going for work or you're going for an immigration. If your records are in a blockchain, you don't have to submit you don't even have to do your health. You just give it on the blockchain. You'll make a decision in seconds. So, healthcare. It's streamlined clinical data. Now, everybody's talking about creating a COVID vaccine. We are talking about it, but how do we know that the tests are being done as per protocol? No shortcuts are being taken. Well, if it's on blockchain, nobody can do that. So we have And also then what happens? We are shipping out drugs, that is medicines, from place A to place B. We can do cold chain tracking. We can do the drug provenance authenticity. We can check on the health records. Organ registry. We donate kidneys. We donate liver. We donate heart. We can track it. There was a case where one kidney patient, I will not name which place because it's very sad for it. A kidney was sold to somebody. Obviously, somebody was in need of a kidney. Normally, a kidney is not supposed to be sold. It is only to be taken from your organ bank if it's available. But of course, a lot of things happen. And the kidney, the doctor told the patient, the kidney is just hardly a week back, it has been donated. And when it was transplanted into a kidney patient, the kidney patient died within 2 days of the transplant. But there was a little investigation on what happened. It was found out that the kidney was almost 2 to 3 months old and not put in a proper storage area. So it was an infected kidney. Now what happens if this was if every organ which needs to be transplanted is on a chain, on a blockchain, it'll be easy to determine in a second whether it is actually a truth or not. That it was actually what you're saying. If it's a 2 months old, we'll know it's 2 months old. It's week old, week old. If it's been stored in a proper place, yes or no, it'll be there. Anyways, that was a sad story, but that's how we can see that there are no more sad stories now. Pharma trade, provide data management, everything can be done in the healthcare. In insurance, imagine if you had a car and you banged up your car, and if you file for insurance, sometimes it takes days to verify. Even in a death, it takes sometimes days for the insurance company to pay up the money. They'll have all sorts of investigations, etc. And they'll take their own sweet time passing a claim. With blockchain, everything can be verified within seconds or minutes. The decision making is faster. The claims management is faster. The contract authentication, that means, do you have the correct policy? Life policy, term policy, everything authenticated? Absolutely yes. Insurance records, KYC, everything can be on the blockchain. Media. Now, nobody can say my song came first and somebody else dropped it. You write a story, you can put it on the blockchain, it will have a timestamp. Tomorrow, somebody else steals the story and sells it to some big producer. You can file a case and win it because your timestamp is first. So you can do that. Also, the payment of all royalties is automatically calculated on the blockchain. Nobody has to give any arguments. Everybody knows how many copies of your songs are sold, etc. And all payments can be made automatically, immediately on the blockchain. It also protects your IP protection, royalty programs. Likewise, we have in retail, manufacturing, and utilities as well. You can do, in retail, just an example, everybody's heard of Walmart. Now, Walmart in the United States again, and North America, and now in Europe, is using blockchain for all their grocery and agricultural produce. The next time you pick up a potato in Walmart and you scan there's next to it, there's a scanner, you scan it, you will know exactly when the potato seed was put into the ground, sown, when was it treated, when was it harvested, when was it washed and rinsed and cleaned, when was it loaded on the van to take it to the central warehouse, from the warehouse, what happened there, was it stored for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, and when was it sent for shipment. You can track every bit of it. Every bit of it. So much so that in some of the blockchains, you can even record the farm, take up videos of the farm so that the customer knows exactly which farm or which land it came from. So that's how much it can go to. So imagine now also what's happening. A lot of importers are asking Indian exporters, is your produce on blockchain? Because we don't know how fresh it is. I'm an exporter from India and I'm saying, yes, sir, my potato, I just harvested it just 2 days back and I'm sending it to you. How do I prove it? There is no timestamp or a date stamp on a potato. Yeah, but on the systems, there is a time, on blockchain, there is a stamp. So they are insisting now for exporters in India, please put all these perishables, especially on the blockchain, so that we know that you're sending us proper goods. This also avoids, goods being sent back from ports or being found substandard or stale or rotten. So retail is doing manufacturing, huge, or you can track all your spare parts, all your parts, utilities. Everybody can track the utility bills, electricity bills. You don't need a company to tell you. You know very well what's going on. Recently in Bombay, there was a big hue and cry because one of the utility companies started send out bills worth 36,000, 40,000 to guys who have never got a bill more than 3,000 rupees ever in their lives. So if blockchain was there, this simply would eliminate, would track the exact number of units and automate the billing process, and you can make automated payment processes without human intervention at all. So I'll come straight now to a very interesting. I shared with you before that blockchain is now the #1 job scale for 2020. So says LinkedIn. Most in-demand job scales is right across industries. It's because of lack of skilled talent. Who's hiring? Every sector which I talked about is hiring, and all tech firms are hiring. Tech firms are hiring so that they can service the legacy firms. So there are people here who are required in the blockchain space, and there are people here who are required in the blockchain space to manage those systems. Blockchain is now required everywhere. Startups. There are a lot of startups, 1,500 plus startups now, cryptocurrency startups, which have raised $3.5 billion in the USA alone via the initial coin offerings, ICOs, not IPOs. They are taking Bitcoin as finance because Bitcoins can be traded in cash anywhere in the world, in at least more than 50 countries in the world. And most of the progressive countries, advanced countries are accepting it. So ICOs, that is the initial coin offerings, are the new way of raising funds which present an alternative to IPOs. We all heard of IPOs, but now here's an alternative. They're hiring, startups are hiring big time. Now there is a little problem though, because there are not too many trained professionals. Training holds the key. Let some well-known names in the market talk about it. Gartner is a leading, we all as a leading research and advisory firm. It says that the blockchain business value will go beyond 3 trillion by 2030. 3 trillion. Go back 6 months, go back a few months. In India, we recently talked about getting towards a 5 trillion economy. That is the economy of a nation. And here we are talking about a 3 trillion only blockchain space by 2030. 10 years from now, it'll be 3 trillion business value. That's massive. That's massive. That also tells you where are the jobs going to be. We have to see the trends where the jobs are going to be. So that's next. Hired. Hired is like what we have in India. We have Naukri.com, Monster, Shine. Hired is one of the most popular sites for people to look for jobs in the international business world. And the demand for job developers is at an all-time high with the number of full-time job offerings showing a staggering growth rate of 400% over the past year. So if last year 10,000 people were hired, this time it's going to be 400% higher. Major. There's also a shortage of skilled resources with expertise in blockchain. So says NASCOM. There are only 45 to 60,000 skilled resources who are industry ready. Imagine only 45 to 60,000. That's absolutely nothing. In a country as big as ours, there's billions of people, very few. So now that brings us to a problem. I consult with a lot of corporates. I give their staff training. I give the employees technical training in blockchain. Why am I giving technical training in blockchain in corporates? I am giving because there is nobody coming out from our colleges, our universities, because we haven't adopted blockchain as a subject as yet. We should, and we will. But still, right now, there is nobody. So what do they say? Okay, skilled people are already there right now because we need guys in blockchain. So I am every day, almost every day, I am spending 3 to 4 hours online training existing employees of PwC, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, everybody, Vodafone, Jio, on blockchain. Why are we doing it? Because they don't have freshers coming in. As we speak right now, it's about 6 o'clock right now. So at this point of time, I have gotten my mailbox, and I'm not a recruiter. I'm just a professional in the blockchain industry. I do a lot of consulting and advisory around training, but I have 3,000 plus jobs sitting in my mailbox, and I cannot place anybody there because I don't have so many people. Out of those 3,000 plus, almost 60% of jobs are for freshers. A very rare thing to have jobs, especially in pandemic times, when most of the corporates either don't come for a recruitment or make excuses or simply don't show up or simply have resigned their letters which they've given. It's happened right from the IITs also, contrary to what people think. There are very few jobs coming out in the market right now, but in this space and in a couple of other spaces in cloud and AI also, there are jobs, and there are very good jobs. Most important, they're very well-paying jobs, and I'll share a little bit of that with you. As I told you, there's a huge skill shortage, and the demand right now in India is growing 40% per quarter. A lot of people required every quarter. What are the type of jobs? Well, there are some technical and some non-technical. Now, this is for all of you. Some of you who are technical students and some of them are non-technical students. So if you're an MBA, BBA, blockchain is for you. If you're a BTech, computer science, healthcare, pharmacy, any of these, it's for you. It's for everybody. You don't need to know. I am not from a technology background, for example, and I'm a blockchain expert. I've learned now, of course, many things, but I never came from a technology background. So like me, there are many people who are doing the MBA or the BBA. If you are doing blockchain, there are opportunities for you. For the techies, there is the developers, designers, engineers, that's always there. For non-techies, there is a blockchain attorney, person who knows the rules and regulations of blockchain, because blockchain is impacting many compliances. So you need to be, it's called a blockchain attorney. You don't have to know law for it. You need to be a blockchain attorney. You need to know the legalities of blockchain and the platform and Bitcoin and trading, etc. And one more new concept, I'll probably put that in my next slide, is a blockchain conceptualizer. Person basically could be an MBA or a BE, anybody who would give advice to the organization saying, listen, guys, if we implement blockchain in this process, we will save this much money, or we will enhance productivity, or we will enhance resource mobilization or resource leveraging. He's the person who understands blockchain, so he can give the concepts so that organizations can create better systems internally as well as externally. He could set up a blockchain sales system. He could set up a blockchain inventory system. These are non-technical. So they are non-technical and technical jobs as well. Types of companies posting, startups and IT companies, 72% of them are posting jobs. And they're not all technical jobs. There are also a lot for trainers as well. And there are lots of jobs for conceptualizers, concepts. And the non-IT is the other 28%. If you see recruitment is 10%. Why recruitment? Because now all verification of your documents, of your work experience, of your past 10th, 12th, whatever, is going to be done on blockchain. World over is being done here. It's the question of time. In the private enterprise, a lot of the corporates are going into blockchain for verification of degrees. And therefore, it's important for even universities and colleges to adopt blockchain as their mechanism for issuing their degrees now. Okay, coming here, platform-wise jobs. This is for the techies. For the techies, Hyperledger and Ethereum, which I talked about. 86% of developer jobs are in Hyperledger or Ethereum. And the others are in Bitcoin, Ripple, etc. And these are others. Ethereum and Hyperledger. These are the two you need to really work on. So what are the required skills? Not necessarily tech skills. It's blockchain concepts. Corporates ask people to have blockchain concepts. So an MBA can have it as well. He can understand concepts. In fact, for one of the universities in Bangalore, they're creating a complete blockchain MBA program. MBA FinTech and MBA Blockchain. Two programs that are going to be rolled out from this year. And they're fantastic programs because they've integrated blockchain in MBA, thereby giving MBA students a fantastic opportunity of getting jobs real fast. Coming back, so the skills are blockchain concepts. You should understand concepts very well. Other jobs are, these are technical jobs, all these jobs. So 43% jobs go in the technical category, and 57 say that you must require these skills. These are skills you can develop. Concepts need to be very clear from the very beginning. I started my talk with a couple of headlines. I'm going to wrap it up with some headlines, then I can take some questions if you have any. Supreme Court of India overturned central bank's ban on trading in virtual currencies. There was a ban first. Supreme Court has overturned it. Now we can trade in virtual currencies in India. Binance is one of the largest funders. They fund only blockchain projects. And they have set up a 50 million fund in India for startups. Another company coming up, for which I'm an advisor, it's called Blocksar. Blocksar is coming up with another fund, but this fund is not for startups outside colleges. It's going to be for startups within universities and colleges. We have a program called 300 Innovations, which we are going to roll out for blockchain-enabled solutions and platforms and products. So this is going to be very key. Why are people coming in here? Why are international companies showing interest? Because now in India has become a hotspot of talent. We have a lot of talent. We are very good in technology. So they're marrying talent and technology and seeing the opportunity. Okay. Then we have, I've already mentioned this part, Niti Aayog has released the blockchain first map. Some of the places like Thane in Maharashtra, it's turning to blockchain for property tax assessments. This is an interesting story. Before I end, I want to just tell you this little story. We all know that recently Facebook has invested and bought 10% stake in Reliance Jio. Wow, 10% stake in Reliance Jio converts into thousands of crores. Why did they do it now during the pandemic? Anybody thought of that? Let me take it inside now. Let me take you inside the world of Reliance Jio and Facebook. These negotiations have been going on since last 2 years almost. Started 2 years back. It intensified last year, by the end of last year. And Facebook said, we'll invest, but we'll wait and watch for some time. Now, what were they waiting for? What were they waiting for? This part. Supreme Court of India overturned. The minute Supreme Court in the month of Jan-Feb overturned this, within a month and a half, Facebook invested into Jio. Big reason Facebook has got its own currency like Bitcoin. It's called Libra. Libra becomes the currency of Facebook. With the 10% stake, it controls everything on all Reliance users. And they are going to start making in India a crypto wallet, which will rival the ATMs, the phone pays, etc. Because it will now make all transactions very cheap and through their platform, not through bank platforms any longer. Of course, it'll take some time because there has to be a legal framework made. The bottom line is Facebook has come inside and it wants to do all its transactions online on Facebook, like advertisements, trade promotions, etc., through Libra over a period of time. Now, as we speak, they're putting up a huge platform in India, and right now there are about 300 to 400 vacancies right now in the blockchain space, which I'm supposed to be helping them fill up. I am not being able to help much. I've sent about 50, 60 people right now. All of them have been sucked into it. They've been taken in, but I still need lots more. Coming back, Kerala is putting its entire financial and banking system on blockchain. And this is interesting. Blockchain skills get you double or even triple the salary of software engineers. You know, in a blockchain, you can start off with salaries right from 6 to 8 lakhs starting salary. Guys who have worked in the blockchain space in the same domain continuously for the next 3 years are getting a salary of 25 to 30 lakh rupees, which is the same as the salary of a bank general manager who, poor guy, has worked 25 to 30 years for it in a public sector bank. So look at the difference. You work 3 years, you're earning the same salary as a bank manager of, say, Mena Bank or Bank of Baroda, Bank of India. And also, if you get into the C after about 10 years of experience, you get into the VP, senior VP level and the top level, Your salaries touch upward of 80 lakhs to 100 lakhs. That is 80 lakhs to 1 crore. That's a great growth in 10 years' time. I'm sure most of us would like that. I'm out of the job race right now, too old for it, but guys, you guys are young. Think about it. Once again, look at LinkedIn. 50 million Indian profiles. Blockchain jobs top among the most sought after jobs. Most sought after jobs in India. And this is news which is coming in the Economic Times, Live Mint, Financial Express, Business World, etc. Who's hiring? Who are the recruiters? You've seen most of these names. I have only put these names because these are the companies I work with when I talk about training, advisory, etc. I work with them at multiple levels. And these are the companies I keep telling them, okay, now these colleges have got blockchain professionals. Go there and recruit. Don't waste your time putting ads on Naukri and big newspapers. Go right there. So that's why I said I'm helping them upskill their professionals. They would rather get somebody who's a trained blockchain professional right from day one. That's an opportunity for you to think about. And at this point, I'll say, right, guys, I am done with the introduction. It's just a brief introduction, although it took 45 minutes, 50 minutes. But the idea was to make you understand the vast opportunity that is called blockchain. The huge job impetus it's giving in an economy which is floundering, which is struggling right now. Even the Prime Minister now says we must have a frontier technology like blockchain to bank upon. It's not me who says this. It's the world who's saying it. I'm just one of the people who are saying it. But I'd love to be involved in anything which requires blockchain. I mean, I understand many technologies, but this is my passion. I'm trying to see that the passion reaches people like you, like-minded people. And TPCR is doing a great job in that. Thank you. And I'm glad IES also taken the initiative of, hosting this. And that's been a great thing for me.